It's been the lifeblood of modern civilization, and it's used not just for transportation, for cars and ships and planes, but as a source of raw materials for plastics, fertilizers, and even pharmaceuticals.
But as it becomes more difficult and dangerous to extract, the race is on to find a renewable and environmentally sustainable alternative.
I'm Russell Beard, and I've come to southern Spain to meet a company that's at the forefront of a new green oil rush.
A growing demand for biodiesel is driving deforestation and reducing the land and water available for agriculture. While massive investment in bioethanol is pushing up food prices, with farmers growing crops for cars instead of people. These concerns, plus the potential profits, have prompted the investment of billions into finding the green fuel of the future.
We have a problem. Okay, nobody knows exactly how long we are with the crude oil, but it's a finite product. We receive by the sun 15,000 times more energy per day like we use. The only system using minimum 10% of that is the photosynthesis. My idea was to say, look, if the oil, the crude oil has been formed with the CO2 million years ago, we can do that now, but we have to accelerate that.
Over the last 6 years, scientists at Biofuel Systems have been developing a process to convert CO2 to energy by harnessing the natural power of photosynthetic algae.
And so what are you looking for? What's your ideal algae?
The size, the morphology, if we see multiplication, mitosis or not mitosis.
The right potential to be your superstar algae.
Superstar algae. And this is the mother of all the culture we have. The color is different because we are working with different kind of species and strain of macroalgae. We pass with other volume, 5 liter, 20 liter, 100 liter, 1,000 liter.
It doesn't look real, I have to say. It looks like science fiction. So is it fair to say all of this came from one cell?
Okay,
One microalgae.
One microalgae to 300 millions per milliliter. We make the same thing that the nature needs millions of years, but we control and we make it each day. But the first nutrient is carbon, and carbon in form of CO2.
Cement manufacture contributes 5% of global CO2 emissions, but BFS sees this not as pollution, but as a raw material. They've established a test facility next to a cement plant near the city of Alicante, from which carbon dioxide is captured and piped through 300 photobioreactors.
This is a feeding for the algae. This atom of carbon, they are going to put it in their structure.
A sophisticated circulation system ensures maximum exposure to sunlight, which along with the high level of CO2 enables the algae to reproduce 500 times faster than they would in nature.
You have to control all the parameters, otherwise from one day to another, you can have no algae anymore.
Yeah, it's a living system here.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is a living system, so as we are.
This algae is going to be transformed into a biomass that is susceptible to be transformed in a biocombustible.
It looks like this is a long way from being a combustible. I mean, it looks like pond water, let's be honest.
We remove the water. This is the water that we obtain after removing the water. The water that we have into the... Yes.
No, you just fill this up out of the tap.
Is so clean that we can reuse again and again in our process. This is our idea, we reuse. This is the biomass that we obtain.
Wow.
Okay?
This density of energy, I mean, it is here, but it's just not quite in the right form yet.
No, we need to transform it with our thermochemical process that if you want, we can go.
They break down the molecular structure with heat and pressure, but the exact process remains top secret.
We can reach up to 250 bar, and we can reach up to 450 degrees.
You're kind of emulating that fossilization process.
Yes.
So if it was literally 400 million years from here to the end of your machine, we could almost count it in steps.
Yes.
At that end, it's plant matter, and you can really smell it. It smells a bit like a farmyard.
Yes, for sure.
But at this end, it's more like oil.
You can refine to obtain different fractions. Kerosene, gasoline.
And what about the manufacturing processes? Of course, we know that oil is used in plastics, in other manufacturing.
Sure. The same chemical component that we have into the crude oil. So in the end, you can do whatever you want.
You can do whatever you could do with crude oil, you can do with this. So this is 100% algae-sourced crude oil. Whoa! It's not what we're used to seeing on Earthrise, is it? Wow, that's energy.
Yes, this is the meaning of density of energy.
The system acts as a depollutant. For each barrel over 2 tons of CO2 is consumed, half of which will never return to the atmosphere.
Not even just carbon neutral.
It's negative balance.
It's a negative balance.
Right now we are in a pilot plant, and we are working in the technology. We are starting off in Almeria, a new plant, and in Almeria we are going to sell it.
And so can we go and see that?
Yes, we can go.
In Almeria?
Yes.
Can we fill the car first?
Yes.
Almeria is home to the worst polluting power station in Spain and a large quarried wasteland unsuitable for agriculture. BFS aims to site their algae farms across the world in places like this, next to big polluters like coal-fired power stations and factories.
The scale of this place, wow. So when do you think it will be finished?
In a few months. So the civil works finish in 2-3 months. Then we start with building the bioreactors. Maybe in less than 1 year we are in production.
So you're using seawater,
That's right.
the sunlight, and of course the carbon dioxide from these. Oh, you can see the cement
Yes.
works just here. You don't need to be an expert to see the potential here when we're talking about this amount of energy coming down from the sun, and effectively this amount of resource that most people would see as pollution.
That's right. Here we have a big problem with this pollution because it's too much CO2 emission in a small town. We need petroleum. We create petroleum, but a green petroleum.
If you give us the surface in the next 30 years, 1/4 of the desert of Libya, you give us that, and we will make the production of 85 million barrels. That means we can reduce 20% the atmospheric CO2. It's not imagination, it's with the parameter you saw this morning in this plant. What I want is transmit the message to all of the responsible, to all of the world to say, look, maybe it's a solution there. Check that, and maybe it's the solution for the future.